Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Spiker Christensen.
Wait, which movie are we doing? You didn't tell me which one.
What are we doing? Hello, everybody. It's a surprise. If you read the title of this movie, you'd know that we were talking about Atlanta, Season 3.
No. Season 1 and 2 as well. I do not want to talk about just Season 3 because...
Oh, excuse me. We're doing Atlanta Season 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, because I love Season 1 and 2. Like, why wouldn't we talk about that? Season 3, like, I
was quoting 3 when he's getting... That's what I was quoting.
Yuck. And you're so funny because I was listening back to some of our older episodes and you were like, oh my gosh, this Season 3 is so amazing. It's like, and you kept mentioning... And then by the end, you're like, I'm over it.
Oh, yeah. See, the thing is, it started strong, but I can't help but feel that was like that intentional, where they're like, here's like our best 2 episodes, and then
I disagree though. I thought some of the later stuff I enjoyed more. Like, I mean, I did not care for that episode you just quoted, but I did love. I love so much the kid
around frying a hand. I thought that was
the kid with a freaking flamethrower trying to kill the other kid. That was amazing. That was so good. You don't remember the kid with the flamethrower? That was the last episode. And he's like running around. And then one of the kids gets shot by the police. And he's like, that's the blackest thing that can ever happen. And so they give him tuition.
Dude, I know. See, this show is... I love how Donald Glover did describe it as Twin Peaks meets... like a rapper in Twin Peaks, and I thought that was really clever because, but like, okay, so I just like that there was more of a narrative structure in season 1 and 2.
Yes,
and it upset me that there were so many.
And they kind of abandoned all of
it. They did. Like, and never mind the fact, like, we never got to see Paperboy struggle anymore. He's just like a big shot now, and I liked the grounded reality of like trying to make it in Atlanta. That's what made it so, like, I cared so much
moments
about.
Of surrealism.
Now he's rich, and I'm like you. Like, I don't like Paperboy as a rich guy. I liked him when he was struggling and yelling at Earn to make more money. Like, that was funny to me.
Yeah.
I just wish they never made it big, personally. I know that sounds bad. Like, I wanted him at the very last season to make it big, but, like, I just wanted him to be struggling and keep hustling, because that was what I enjoyed watching. Like, just, like, the constant struggle of being like, man, like, everyone is trying to keep you down. That was what was so appealing about season 1 and 2 for me. It was like watching Better Call Saul. It's like everyone hates Bob Odenkirk. Like, he's been ostracized by everyone. He's an outcast, and he's just, no matter how hard he tries, even if he plays by the rules, gets shafted every time. So Earl, man, I love you, Donald Glover. Don't fail me. Your show is derailing.
I don't know. I'd say like I still really love parts of it. There's some moments I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this, and other moments I'm like, this is stressing me out way too much.
Yeah, because even like in the first season and second season, there were episodes that felt episodic. Like there's literally a show where like Paperboy is just trying to get a haircut from his barber.
Yes,
and he ends up going
my favorite episode. That is amazing.
It's so funny because like it is a bottle episode per se, because it's just one day Paperboy going to a barber shop. And,
I've rewatched the episode so many times and shown so many people.
They take him out. I'll get you some lunch. Get some chicken wings. Man, what are you talking about? It's like, this is someone else's lunch. And they steal a bunch of lumber from someone else's construction site. I thought that was so funny.
So amazing.
And then he finally gets his hair cut, dude, and he's just like, man, he's like, you cut my hair, dude. You're just like, dude, get him his haircut. This poor guy, he's been chased by the police, had they hit and run somebody. Like, it's so funny just to get his fetching haircut. And I'm like, dude, if I get my own haircut by my wife, I'm very grateful I didn't have to go to a barber. At least in Atlanta, that would be horrible. What an experience. What a ride. I just love it, too, when he's like halfway through his haircut and he has to cut his son's hair. He just leaves Paperboy with the apron on and everything. That's so funny, dude. Oh, my gosh. And so another episode, another great one where they have an interview with Paperboy and like a local news channel or something like that. And they're like doing this story and they're trying to stir up this debate between free speech and being offended by his rap lyrics that are largely, which, again, as any person knows, like, rap music is a lot of that. So I just thought that was really funny that at the very end, he's trying to stir crap up, and he's like, oh, well, he disagrees with you here. And they're like, no, actually, we agree. It's all fine. And he's, like, trying to stir shiz up. I'm like, that is so today's culture. Like, Twitter, Facebook, everything today is just designed to, like, incite you to post, retweet, to share, and just, stir shiz up. And I just love that. That's this show spoke directly to that. So Atlanta was really good at pointing out the ridiculous fallacy, of everyone these days, where we're all getting hyped up and angry about the wrong thing. It's like everyone and everything is designed to keep you down, So I thought that was great. But dude, what are your two favorite things from Atlanta?
Oh shoot! I mean, you pretty much mentioned that episode. I don't know how to home in on just two.
You could share your two favorite episodes. So you mentioned the barbershop as one of your favorites.
Yeah, I could. There's just so many great moments in the show, and I love that about it. I love how you don't really know where it's gonna go. Like I love that about the show. I have no idea what to expect at all ever. I'm just watching it like I'm just on this ride the whole time, and I'm enjoying it very much. And that's what I enjoy about it. I just feel like there's tons of moments, like when I sent you guys that clip of when those kids kidnapped that baby and just started tossing it. It seems so unreal. It's just, I was dying.
Or how about Justin Bieber showing up and he's black? That was fucking hilarious, dude. Season 1, the Tool, Justin Bieber, they played the basketball against him, and he's yelling at everyone. He's super rude and everything. I just thought that was so funny. Again, they don't, I guess it could be like an alternate universe of the world, right? What is going on in Atlanta? There's something fantastic going on. There's something supernatural about it, even. Because there's an invisible car, that runs over people in season 1. Do you remember that? Or season 2? Yeah, dude, you need to go back and watch them. The show had all the weird, surreal elements. The only thing I am struggling with season 3 is that they've sacrificed the linear storytelling.
Yeah.
It kind of feels more akin to an episode of Family Guy. And I hate to say that just because I don't want to insult Donald Glover. This is a very intelligent show. But he was really good before at including these supernatural and surreal stories.
Yes, it was almost like
being a
background
day
noise.
in the life. Yes, it was a day in
now
the life
that's what carries the
of
story.
Darius or Paperboy or Earn.
Yeah.
But instead it's here's just a random story of two mothers that try to kill their 3 adopted black children. And while it's horrifying because this really was a thing, if you listen to the Broken Hearts podcast, spelled Harts, I think, it was a family, 2 mothers that adopted these children, did end up horrifyingly driving their car off a cliff and killed themselves and their 3 kids. And it wasn't an accident. They intentionally took their lives. So very horrifying story. And it's funny how he tells... I couldn't help but feel like this was somehow an audition for Twilight Zone or
a Black Mirror
or Black Mirror or even Donald Glover saying hey, Jordan Peele, I like what you're doing with your horror movies and Get Out, Us, and Nope. This is kind of like my episode of a Black Mirror or a Nope type movie, or I haven't seen Nope yet, but yeah, Jordan Peele-esque, so, which I thought was interesting, because again, the horror didn't really play a part in the first. There was definitely suspense.
Well,
there was an episode where they meet basically Michael Jackson, where he's in whiteface, horrifying, and you think he's going to die. It had very much of a horror movie feel to it.
But I mentioned, it's all background noise. There's a scene when they go, that episode I love, when he goes to the police station, and there's just all these little things going on in the background when he's on the bus and there's this guy talking to him and
offers him a sandwich.
Yeah. And at first you're like, okay, it's just a weirdo. But then he starts talking to him like he might be some kind of angel or something. I just love this idea that there's perhaps there's things that happen in our lives that somehow are giving us purpose, or there's some meaning behind it, or perhaps it's just some weird person. I just love that it's all background noise.
Is it meaningless, or is this super dense? Is this destiny calling at my door? Is this my call to action?
Yes.
If it's nope, this is just an actual crazy person on the subway. It's great. I love it. So anyway, I think one of my favorite things is the cast. I love Donald Glover, Brian Tyree Henry, and Lakeith Stanfield. I think these 3 are awesome.
Good boy.
I've been seeing Lakeith in a lot of things. He was in Get Out. He was one of the first victims. He was also the guy that infamously
I'm
yells,
surprised he's the
out.
one that gets all the roles, because he's not my favorite. I like Donald Glover and Paperboy
I like
better.
him. And for example, I love that he's going for it.
That's
Darius
true.
is such a strange character. I don't see too many people taking as many risks as he is. I watched him in an interview being L. He was L in the movie Death Note, which was so bad. But he was pretending to be L in the interview, and I'm like, dude, I love you, man. I love that he was doing this. Like, I don't know too many actors that would be willing to do this, because usually they're cooler than school. They sit down, larger than life, and they're like, "Oh, this is my role, and I tried to do this." He was just sitting there in the interview with his legs up on the couch. He was pretending to be Elle in the interview. I'm like, that's amazing. I love it. I mean, it was super like cringeworthy, but I freaking loved it, dude. So anyway, Brian Tyree Henry, he got in Immortals, I think, or Eternals. What was the one called with Angelina Jolie?
He was also in the new Chucky movie. I thought he was.
He was in Joker too. He was the guy. Yeah, he was in
Chucky,
and
he's in Kong versus.
Yeah, they're getting work, dude.
Yeah,
the boys are getting work. And Donald Glover, man, bless his heart, that guy is everything. Like, he had that huge "This Is America" song moment, like on YouTube, super viral. I don't necessarily think he's even. I didn't necessarily like the song per se, but I liked the music video, and I had so much to think about afterwards.
I think also my favorite thing that he's done is Troy in Community. I love him in.
Yes, there's no mistaking that. He has great comedic timing. He's done stand-up, and he's done lots of his own films.
Yeah, I watched his stand-up. He's fun.
I love that he's kind of doing what he wants to with this, but I almost like that Ern is a straight character, and he does such a good job at being someone I cared about, and there's just not enough of that. It's just shifted. It's no longer about Ern anymore. It's a little bit about Paperboy. It's a little bit about... They kind of put it all on Van, which I think she's fine.
I do not like her.
I'm just upset because, like, again, they did a good job at establishing how she's feeling selfish about abandoning her child, and all of her friends judge her for it, and she's, like, trying to figure out life. Like, yeah, it is hard raising kids. Like, I get it, but, like, I like, no excuses. Like, you don't get to abandon your kid with your parents because you didn't live your fullest life. Like, I'm sorry, but those are the decisions you made in life. You have to stand by them. You don't just get to push it onto your mother and your child because
they already raised you. Like, they want to raise your kid too.
Yes,
oh
exactly.
Gosh.
So it's very hard to feel empathetic for her, but I liked that literally they were like eating hands. I thought that was really funny. Like, because I knew that was going to happen. Like, usually I don't know where the show's going, but I was like, oh, there's people in this food. And then it shows him, he's like deep frying hands or whatever. I thought that was so funny.
Oh, the guy, I love
Van kept denying where she was from.
From The Northman. He was great.
Yeah, dude, he was playing. You know what I think that was? I think he was mocking Arnie Hammer. I really do. Like, I think I almost get those two confused. Arnie Hammer, like, has like a with cannibalism, and apparently that's not a problem because you should never shame. But it was really funny that he got in trouble and he's lost, he's like been fired from Hollywood or dropped from most projects because he like had some cannibalistic tendencies, and he was texting girls like, he's like, I just want to cut open your intestines and throw them on a grill and eat them or something. I don't know, maybe he wants to eat them raw, I have no idea. But anyway, the reason it was a problem is because he's a rich Hollywood actor, and he made some girl feel uncomfortable with his actual cannibalization. And that made me laugh because they're like, we're not saying that the is wrong, we're just saying that Arnie Hammer can't have these because he's pressuring women that are uncomfortable with it because he's in a position of power. Love it. I love the culture we live in today. But anyway, that's what I thought of, because he was clearly a cannibal, and he was like, hey, you girls are all like, he was like obsessed with like, he was at the restaurant eating the hand.
Is the guy from Taken, is he actually canceled? Like, they were talking about that. I didn't get that.
Which one?
The movie Taken, right?
Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't know if that's, like, I can't remember the last time I heard that Liam Neeson said anything, but, like, I don't really follow much of this, but I did follow Arnie Hammer's because I thought it was so funny that they're like, we're not saying we have a problem with cannibalism. We just have a problem that he's a rich Hollywood actor forcing younger, people and exerting power over them.
Well, I know. I was just curious if you had any answers to that, like why.
To Liam Neeson's point, no, but either way, I wouldn't be surprised if he has done stuff like that. And because, when's the last time Liam Neeson was in anything serious? Like, he's kind of like a Mel Gibson now. He gets to act in, like, low-budget action films where they pay him a bunch of money. Oh. But he's probably making bank more than he ever was being a dramatic actor. Ever since Les Mis, like, what has he been in other than Taken 4, 5,
They're doing
6?
the same thing with Bruce Willis. They're just milking him until he's done.
Well, no, poor guy. He's done now. I heard he's done anyway. The poor guy has that senior brain. I don't know what they call it, but...
Yeah. But they milked him as much as they could, though, before he was done.
I always think that was like senior abuse. Those were his kids. They're like, Dad, you got to pump these out. Poor guy. And they don't even care.
My house doesn't pay for itself, Dad.
That's right, Dad. What a joke. Oh, kids, make your own way in life. Don't rely on your parents' wealth.
I think the first two seasons are solid. I love
Second
it.
season, episode 1, Robin season. The whole the first episode, they're like shooting each other at Taco Bell, or where were they? At KFC? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
it's
They were
so
like
fun.
trying to rob it. They were shooting guns all over the kitchen. It was insane, dude. Oh, it was great.
Yeah, I
Changes
love
the
the
game.
hustle culture, and I guess I just, like you said, I miss that from season 3,
Yes.
and I miss
Yeah,
feeling
yes.
like there's a story, because I do think it's interesting. Each episode is different, but I just don't know which episode I'm gonna like and which episode I'm gonna be like, pass.
Yeah. Yeah. And even then, like, even some of the episodes that were slower and more out there, I still liked what they were trying to do and going
That's
with
true.
it. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, lately I'm just upset that I feel like they're taking an, it's hard to say this, they're taking an easier route just by making whatever episode you want to do, and you don't even have to tie it into your characters. And I'm like, well, yeah, like there was 2-3 episodes in this latest season. One was about reparations for slave owners back in the day, so you get like a bunch of white people losing their property or money or having to pay like an extra tax or a fee to people that their ancestors
That episode
had
gave me
enslaved.
anxiety. I hated that one.
I know. It was funny too. He's like, dude, I think it was Donald or whoever wrote the episode recaps. It says, dude, this one gave me mad anxiety, bro, or something
Yeah, it
like
did.
that.
Well, I was nervous. I'm like,
yeah.
is this actually happening? Like, I got nervous for a second.
Like, is this real life? Oh, don't come for my money, man. I didn't own a slave. And yeah, I the thing is, I definitely had a reaction to it too. Like, I was like, oh man, this is terrifying. Like, the way they had it too, where it was very much like Get Out, where the guy's running after him in his car. Like, it literally was from Get Out.
And like feeling like we have to suffer for our dumb forefathers,
Yeah,
decisions.
Right. It's insane. And you're like, yeah, but there's obviously effects of it. It's like, yeah, but like, are you going to take the sins of the father and put them on the kids? No, like you shouldn't. But again, it's like, how do you make something right? I don't know. We could all piss and moan about it some more and, until, the cows come home. But in the end, I'm like, yeah, the show does a good job at showing like, what would it look like? And honestly, like Doug from Hangover, that's all I know him from.
I know, me too.
And he was also in National Treasure. That's all I know him
That's
from.
right.
Wait, I know something you don't. So anyway, I just remember that and thinking like, oh, what would it be like? I guess you just pay a higher tax, you lose your car and your apartment. People just literally come in and move in and they're like, this is my place now. It's like, okay, all right. I guess I don't own anything that's mine anymore. It all goes to you or to somebody else. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, it's great. The episodes make you think, long after you watch them.
Yeah, there's just a few moments I wanted to mention that I loved. The guy when he's like putting on the shoes and you're like, what's going to happen here? And then he's like, they have a policy where they can't chase you. And so he just like runs away with the shoes. That character, he is hilarious. He's such bad news. He's so funny. And then I love when Earl picks a fight with him and is his name Earl? I can't even remember now.
Ern. Yeah.
Sorry. When Ern picks a fight with him, and I mean, he's clearly, not as good a fighter as the other guy. And I mean, when they go to college campus, there's so many fun moments. And like when I was talking about them in the police station, I love how quickly a moment can completely take a 180 on them. Like when they're all laughing about something and all of a sudden the police officer comes in and clocks one of them as hard as possible. Like, I just love how quickly that situation turned. Or like when they had the alligator episode, there's just so many moments. Or that when his own friend robs him in the car and he's like, I'm sorry, man, I have to do this. It's so good. Like coming on hard times. And he's like, I know you're popular. And it's like, Paperboy really wasn't. And he was like, he was also having to hustle. So like getting hustled by somebody else is just crazy. Because they think, because his name is now becoming more popular. It's like, oh, you're famous, so you must have money. I love that.
Like, dude, I have no
crazy
money.
notion.
Yeah, exactly. It's like fame is one thing, wealth is an entirely different bag, which is what this show did a really good job at the beginning. Because again, he hits this one single song, Paperboy, and it's like this rap song, and it blows up. But it's like, okay, now like no record labels are approaching you up. Like, you're going to be forgotten about. So what do? He ends up shooting someone in episode 1. Like, it's crazy. Like, the whole show is so maddening. Like, you're like, I don't know. Yeah, like, I love what you said just about not knowing where it's going to go next. Like it could be an episode where Darius is going to go pick up someone's piano, and it's Teddy Perkins, and it's Donald Glover in whiteface, and he's literally like a Michael Jackson stand-in, and creepy as all. Or he's a stand-in for the freaking Jigsaw. That's what he looked like. Looks so horrifying. And I like how it is able to mock, high art. It mocks, concepts of the rap industry, music labels. I loved all that. Like, all that was so good. And there was a great one. I love that they made fun of, one of my favorite ones is when they're in Europe and Paperboy joins this committee and they're all talking about Black Lives Matter, basically, as like, oh, how we're going to help African Americans. And like, they do nothing to help them. In the end, it's just like PR, just a bunch of empty suits talking about something that they don't believe in. They're not going to do anything to effectuate change. But at the end of the day, they're getting their money. Like, and that's all they care about. And I'm like, yeah, it's a very cynical look at the world. But I'm like, that's exactly what's happening. So I love that. I thought that was really well done because, again, calling out organizations that pretend to profess to help people that are, underprivileged, and they do nothing to help those people. So,
South Park did that when the episode when that, what's her name? She's like this big lady and she's in Africa and she's just eating all this food around all these starving children.
It makes me think of Bono every time I see him. Yeah. He's a piece of shiz, dude. Bono from YouTube. Oh, it's so funny. Dude, anyway, would you recommend it? Or do you have any nitpicks? Yeah, I think we said it. Season 3 seems to be dropping off a little bit, but there's still great episodes.
Yeah, and I'll still see season 4. Unless it takes a complete nosedive. But he's still keeping it fresh.
Yeah, if Donald Glover gets Me Too, dude, you better not have any skeletons in your closet. Do not turn into Master of None. First 2 seasons, amazing, but after Aziz Ansari gets like Me Too'd with a bad date, it's like, oh, so now he doesn't get to be in season 3 of Master of None, and the show just, I don't even care to watch it anymore.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia, Ty. If you look like Rickety Cricket, you can't be.
See, another great episode. I love the phone one where they talked about loyalty. This was season 3 that they did really, really well. The British guy that's trying to prove something, he's got the dumb beanie and thinning hair at the top. He ends up taking Paperboy's phone, and he pretends to be so loyal to Paperboy. And he's like, I'm going to find the punk.
I love that you like that. Like, I didn't like that twist. I wanted the other guy to actually find that wall that he said the hidden room. Like, I wanted that.
Yeah, exactly. No, but see, that's the funny thing, Jordan. See, you don't know whether it's the real, right? That's the surreal meets the real, right? In the end, it was just the stupid English that stole his phone and wanted to get credit.
Well, I just didn't understand why they didn't know it was him. Like, why not to suspect him at all? He was the only other guy in the room.
Although they did point to him once, and then he was also like, he was about to say the N-word, wasn't he? He's like, oh, it makes me so freaking mad when this... And he, like, stops, and he's like,
no, I loved in season 2 when the other guy did use the N-word around him, because, like, as a friend. And then when he was around a second black person, he's like, tell me what you told me earlier. And he's like, and he wouldn't say it. I don't know if I could do it. Good.
Well, and they did it too also at that table where they're trying to help underprivileged people. He's like, are we all okay with him using this word? Like, is he black enough to use it? I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, that was good.
He's like might be a quarter black or maybe like half black or something. It's just so funny. He's like, we're just allowing him to say it now.
I love Paperboy.
Yeah. Paperboy, dude.
My favorite was when Paperboy, there's 2 parts when Paperboy laughs that just get me. And when he's like, when the guy sends him a photo of the Michael Jackson looking character, Teddy, and Paperboy sees it and he's laughing so hard at how like freaky he looks. And then also when Paperboy sees the black kid who thinks he's white and he's like, oh no, being gay is a sin. You can't do that. And he just like
this guy looks like Goku
out laughing.
He looks like Dragon Ball Z Goku right here. He's like a black dude with like a blonde wig on, and he's like, I identify as a 30-year-old white male from Colorado. It's like I go to Patagonia or I can't remember where he shops from. It made me laugh so hard. He's like, got my shirt.
There's so many good moments. Oh my
so funny, dude. So great.
Yes, recommend.
Oh, check it out.
First 2 seasons are solid. Third one, still got good moments.
Yeah.
Especially if you like Ty said, Twin Peaks or Black Mirror. Twilight
Zone. Very, very reminiscent of that. So check it out. If you got nothing better to watch. No, Atlanta's great. And we love you, Donald Glover. Put me in your show. All right, everybody, this has been Futro Hidden Movie Gems. Leave us an email, futuremovies@gmail.com. Check us out on Spotify, Instagram. Jordan does funny 1-minute cuts of the best parts of our shows. Check them out. Check out our whole episodes free on YouTube. We love you, listeners. Leave us a 5-star review and share us. Peace. Futro Hidden Movie Gems signing out. Bye.
Peace.
Paperboy.